Hey guys, I'm the Worm, this is the Problem, and welcome to another one of our videos. If you watched the last video, you obviously know roughly what's coming. Today we're going to be doing the Boge cartomizers low resistance.
Low resistance?
Yeah, low resistance.
2 ohm is what they are.
Average.
Well, yeah, it's only guesstimated and it's never bang on, but 2 ohm.
I pre-filled 2 of these earlier just to see if they were working, unlike our triple coil fiasco. One of them ones. Mr. Problem's got one, I've got one, but they come in a packet like that, and inside with it, all 5 of them individually wrapped like that. Now you just take these 2 bits of silica off the top, and then there's another top cap in front of there. Just pop that off and you fill it up and leave it for at least half an hour to soak in.
Longer the better, really, but they did come with that cap does go all the way down the length of the carto, which is pretty cool.
Yes.
The dual coils and stuff that I've got haven't had that, so that's just pretty cool because you can plug it up whilst you're filling it, leave that cap in, and then your liquid will then come back out. You shouldn't have to blow through as much. Yeah.
But, that's it with a drip tip on. It's a standard black one from I think it's from Manova. But
is it Manova?
It's Manova drip tip, I think.
Oh.
It's just a standard black one. It's not got.
You haven't got to use these with drip tips. They do come with that white plug in the bottom. You can just like on the plug.
Yeah, you can just use it as is.
They've got a metal body, so I tend to sort of try and add a bit of a drip tip on it, and gives you a bit more length and also a bit more of that heat resistance. I mean, new drip tip. Oh yeah, but get into that. But these were from Vaporscape.
Vaporscape, yes.
Yeah, .co.uk, pretty good.
Obviously they're Boge, so they're coming from Boge initially, so any Boge ones should be pretty much
yeah,
similar or bang on.
We get it from, we know it from Vaporscape, you know we love Vaporscape.
We've used this for what, maybe an hour today?
I used it at work until I ran out of juice in it and it needed refilling.
So maybe an hour today we've been on and off these sort of thing.
Looks very small on the Vamo,
and it's working really well.
Yeah,
so that's it on provided, obviously it just looks ugly on that, but now let me get my spinner, soon to be gone. I suppose it looks a little bit better
on the spinner. I mean, realistically, they're going to look much better on something like your Riviera, your small batteries that got a manual button or the auto pulls, just because that way you've got something about that long from where my fingers are, and obviously it's very cigarette sized, I suppose, you know, like the Sky Sticks and the disposables.
But yeah, I mean, I haven't really got much to say about them. They last probably, if you're vaping them constantly, about 20 minutes.
Depends on what resistance you got and how high you're running it. I mean, I was running high earlier.
Well, these are the
these are single coil.
30 mil, 35 mil.
No, 35 drop.
No, actual length.
Oh yeah, 35.
These are the 35 mil ones, and I put
small ones.
25 drops in here.
It was about a mil of juice.
About a mil of juice, and it lasted about. Well, it lasted you about 25 minutes or so.
But that was 25 minutes of constant vaping.
Yeah, this is like hard vaping. If you're using this like a normal cigarette, it's going to do you
half a day, I'd say. Yeah. Because if you're having like sort of
a couple of pulls and you're cracking on.
I mean, they've probably got about 50 to 100 puffs in them. If you're puff. I mean, I was like just basically having a chat at work and smashing them. And the thing is, I mean, I think one disadvantage of cartos off the bat, like this kind of system, is that when you've got like a V3 or something and it gets down to sort of lower end of the tank where it's almost out but not quite, you can roll it to get that juice into them, which kind of almost like a manual feed if you like, because you can literally control it around the wicks. With this, obviously your coil's in there. If that liquid can't get to the coil, which is because there isn't enough of it in there ready for gravity to take it and it pull to the coil, you're basically going to burn your polyfill. Literally earlier on I was vaping this, I got the slightest hint of a burnt taste and stopped, because once you burn these there's no going back. It's very hard to recover, if recoverable at all. These are the ones with the black sleeve on, which is why they're in black, but you can get them in stainless as well, so if you was going to cut them or whatever and stick them in a tank.
Apparently you can just rip this black sleeve off if you want to use it in a tank, if that's all they got. But if you're going to use it in a tank and they've got the stainless, go for the stainless. Go with the stainless as standard, but if they haven't got them in stock and there are black in stock, you can get the black and take it off. So
they're, I mean, yeah, I'm fairly impressed.
Mate, I'm quite happy.
For what it is, I think it was £1.20 each these work out to be. Yeah, why not? Like they're not bad. They're I'd say sort of V3 Nova-ish kind of level of vape. Obviously you haven't got the capability of a tank, but then you can get nice cheap carto tanks out there that take these for about a tenner, and I can see that performing better than a Nova overall. It's just like we said in our triple core video, it's going to be more work than a Nova, so kind of I still don't think the fractionally better vape of this will outweigh the fact that it's a lot harder to use. But if you're a Carto person, these Bogues seem, well, they seem good.
Well, 2 out of 2 so far.
Yeah.
The Totally Wicked triple core ones were 0 out of 3.
3 out of 3 failed on us. Well, we're assuming they failed because these, we primed them as we did with them.
Exactly the same.
Worm cut up when he visited me at work, and we had a little chat and a puff, and they both worked absolutely fine. So yeah, they're not bad at all actually.
They are quite noisy.
Yeah, I mean, you get the rattlesnake, but you get it with a lot of stuff on the
But
Vamo.
you even get that with the Pravari. So I think that's the actual coil rather than.
Well, it's just pulse modulated. That's how it controls the voltage. So you're going to get that, but it seems particularly loud with these, probably because there's only a thin piece of metal between the noise and whatever's surrounding it. Because obviously, with a tank, you'd have a stem and an AT head hiding that, or a Carto tank and juice, and then a tank, do you know what I mean, hiding it. So they are fairly noisy. Personally, noise isn't something that bothers me, and I'm not overly fussed, but some people will be.
I think if you're one of these people that are kind of efficient and you kind of fill up all your tanks before you go to sleep, so you can literally get up and get ready for work and go to work, sort of thing. These will be alright for you because you can literally fill these up before you go to sleep and that. Fill them up with, like if you've got 5 of them, fill them up with 5 different flavours. This could fit in your top pocket.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think that's one of the main advantages of these, is they are small.
They're really small. I mean, there's still a mil juice in there.
And you haven't got to have the drip tip. You can use it with a standard white plung
That's
at the
it,
bottom.
so you haven't got that
just,
size.
It's that, and if you've got something like even if you had like a little 350 mile spinner, not spinner, sorry, just an eco, you're only talking something this small, which is actually, I'd say, smaller than a cigarette.
Yeah.
But just the battery would be wider, or like we say, we can use one of them little sort of 300 mile cigarette sized batteries.
But if you did have 5 of these and you pre-filled these with 5 different flavours, that would do you a day.
Yeah, you can have 5 mil of juice with you.
That's it.
It's just in cartos, so
it's just, and then you got the choice of, they're quick and easy, they're light, very light. You haven't had any leaking issues with this either.
Well, you shouldn't really, because it's all absorbed into the
Yeah,
point.
I know,
Once you blow it out, you shouldn't really.
Well, I didn't even blow these ones out.
Well, no, I mean, straight away, I mean, I've used, well, both of us, but mainly predominantly me, have used DCT, Smok Tech dual core cartos. We've both had a go at the triple core cartos from Totally Wicked, and Worm's used the DCT cartos, and then we've used the polyfill on these. I mean, Worm did the initial prime, so I was at work for that. He said it took a little bit of a while to absorb, but then it usually does with the first prime. But the second prime on these just literally straight in, and I must have dripped a mil and a bit into this, and it hasn't struggled at all. Blew through, no liquid came out, so all of it was in that polyfill. You know we're not Carto people. You know that we prefer the simplicity of a Nova because it's basically as good, but twice as easy to use and live with. So, given the choice, obviously I'd still put my money in a Nova Cartomizer, but I'm impressed as a Carto, if that makes sense. I mean, I'm
going to have one of these in my pouch as a backup. Always filled.
Worst case, 1 mil. Worst case, it's gonna. If you know that's all you've got because something's happened, your tank's cracked or whatever else. You know, very worst case is that you can limit yourself and have a little vape during the day if you need to. So that's
get rid of that little bit of stress that is building up. Just get your nicotine hit basically. 1 or 2 pulls. I mean, if you're quite a high nicotine user, then you probably don't vape hard-ish anyway. It seems to be the lower nicotine people that seem to vape harder than the higher nicotine people, so it's just one of those things. I mean, but as I say, that I'm going to always have one of these in my pouch right now. In my little box, I've got like a larger Ego pouch thing, zip case, and this, I don't think I'll be going anywhere without one of these already filled in some sort of juice.
I mean, this has got a tobacco menthol flavour in it. It's quite a nice flavour. Don't get me wrong, it doesn't deliver the punch that the DDAs deliver. It's not going to, but this, I can see me sort of making sure that's always topped up with that. And then when people say, oh, what's that you're using, when I've got a DDA or a Nova on the go, I can show them this, because they're more likely to sort of relate to this than they are something like a Nova, because this is a lot easier to use on first inspection. So you look at it and go, well, that seems quite easy, it's just one thing. I mean, realistically, if you live with this stuff, the Novas are easier. But it's something that people can go, well, that's not bad actually, do you know what I mean? So
you've got a list thing. That's what you just went and got.
I just went and got this.
He reread it out the other day because we lost it.
Yeah, basically I was at work board the other day and we lost our 5-point list, so we thought we'd rewrite it. So basically we do try and keep the 5 point. I mean, I do want to point out our number 4, which is flavour and vapour production. This is going to be dependent on the liquid you're using, guys. But
this is a high
all we
PG
can
still.
say yeah, this is a high PG still, but all we can say is that we've used these liquids in other devices, and we'll basically give it our out of 10s in what we compare it to other devices. So for example, we've used it in the DDAs, so we know that DDAs are going to be a lot better than this. So we're not going to go, oh, it's much better in a DDA than it is in this, because it's going to be. But we're going to give it the overall as for what it's capable of, basically.
I want to start from looks, where we normally do, but in black, I really like this. It's very sleek.
Even in stainless though, if you've got a stainless battery.
If you've got a stainless battery, I mean, all my stuff is generally in black except for my new Vamo.
I mean, when it comes down to...
But we'll get to that.
When it comes down to colour, that's colour preference, or
Yes.
like sort of your style preference. So if you prefer stainless to black or black to stainless, that's going to be sort of whatever. You take it apart, I mean, let's face it, you've got that. In terms of looks, what can you do with that? It's not really a lot you can do with that.
But as it comes standard, looks, it's a very nice looking, sleek little thing.
Yeah.
I mean, any colour, whichever you prefer, you're going to like it, no matter what. I mean, holding milk juice in,
Holding on to it could be an issue.
Like Promo says, in like that sort of size, that is not that much size. That's very compact and nice.
It's just over. It's an inch and a quarter, inch and a half. So yeah, and the fact that you haven't got to use a drip tip as well, you can just use them with a white bung in the bottom, which most people who are using disposable e-cigs and stuff will be used to, because that's how they come.
Yes.
I think, yeah, well, it's sorry mate, it's your mark, isn't it? So,
I'd say an 8.5, 9.
I'd say for a Carto, all Cartos look the same. That's, I mean, apart from a little bit of length, it's either black or silver. All Cartos look the same. So in terms of comparison to other Cartos, they're all the same.
Yeah,
but
they all look about an 8 or 9.
For what it looks for the purpose that it serves, yeah, I'd agree. It's an 8, because if you are using this to be discreet, if you're using this for something small and transportable, if you're using this with a similar size battery, like we say the manual Rivieras or whatever else, then yeah, it's going to look wicked. If you've got the same size battery in black with a little blue or pink or green or white light on the end of it, auto pull, it's going to look good. It's going to look very cigarette-like. It's something
between an 8 and 9, depending on what mod battery you're using at the time.
If you've got something like that, then no. If you're carrying a Vamo, right, there's no point moving on to go, no, I'm just going to use Boge Carto's native on a Vamo, because what's the point? You're carrying a Vamo. You've got a lightsaber. You may as well use a tank. But if you've got one of them small batteries, or even an Ego, and you just want something to back you up, like Worm said, against your tanks or whatever else, just in case, or you was to run out of juice, just in case, because you're not going to notice carrying it with you, yeah, wicked. Yeah, I think for looks, there's only so much you can do with a Carto, but it looks as good as any other Carto does, and I think Cartos, on their own, natively, when they're working like this, is an 8.
Yeah. Usability.
This is just the Carto. This isn't us putting it in a tank. This is just these.
I kind of want to put usability and maintenance together on this, because maintenance kind of comes into usability at the beginning.
With Cartos, it does.
Yes, but not really once you've kind of got it bedded in and it's working. It's fine. It's just fill it up like you would anything else. You have to drip a little bit slower. So yeah, I mean, usability is a 6-ish. I can't give it more. I want to give it less, but I want to be generous, because it's not that hard really if you know what you're doing, and you just take your time with it instead of just few drips, give it a few seconds, few drips, give it a few seconds, a few drips, and you're done.
Is that your usability and maintenance overall?
Overall, I think together as a 6, and even individually they're a 6.
I wanna break them up apart. I don't want to do them together. One or two reasons. Usability. I'm going to include usability as priming it and using it. Okay. Now, priming it is easy. It's not hard to do. It's just time consuming. This is where the major drawback of these comes in, because realistically, filling these is no more difficult than filling an over. It takes maybe twice as long, but you can go 1, 2, 3, 4 and just rotate the Carto as you're dripping, and give it literally 2 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and do that 4 or 5 times, and you've primed it. That is it primed. You've then got to wait. That's where the kind of the downside of these comes in. So usability of these is easy. You just screw it in. Okay, there is nothing really else to do with it apart from priming. So I think these are easy to use, and even if you don't know what you're doing, there's so many videos out there. There's so many, or you can read it. You don't even need to see it said, just demonstrated for you. You can just read it and know what to do. So I think they're easy. I can give these an 8 for usability. For maintenance, this is where it's going to take the hit for me, because maintaining it is the difficult bit in comparison to an over. You take an over apart, you rinse it all out, chuck an 80 head in vodka, put a new one in, work them on rotation for a week, wash an over out every time you change flavours. Simple as that. I know it sounds like a mouthful, but it's not. If you've got an over, you know what I'm talking about. This is a bit more tricky. Maintenance, they drop off fairly slowly but quick at the same time, so you'll start to get a decrease in performance after about a week or two, maybe a bit more than that. Month is very optimistic, and then it'll be boop, 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 and it'll get to a point where it's clogged, and when it's clogged it's like sucking, I don't know, bacon through a straw. It's not going to happen. Alright, you can't really get any vapour for it. At that point you've got a few options. You can keep blowing water through it until it comes out clear. One option, I've tried it, haven't used it since. You can leave it in alcohol solution, which again I can see working. The one that I've read that's most successful is boiling them. So put them in a saucepan, boil them for a couple of minutes. Obviously make sure the heat's not too high once that water's hot, and then take them out. I'd imagine you're going to lose your black sleeve when you do that. And obviously that's a bit of a faff for the sake of £2. So
it's not too good, it's 120, isn't it?
It's 120 or so, £6 for 5 of them or whatever. But if you're using the big ones, probably works out a little bit more closer to £2. But whatever it is. So maintenance for me is going to be sort of like a 4-5, just because, again, we've said this before, we do compare these to the sort of the holy grail in this kind of category as the Nova. I know this Carto versus Clearo, but for the price and the fact it's kind of, you buy something, you use it, and you can toss it, which is what the Nova's designed to do.
I will say Mr. Proton's planning on buying a few of these in the next size up, is it? For his 6mm DCT and give them a go in that.
Yeah, these are much better.
They could be banging.
Oh, in a tank system, yeah. I mean, they're still going to clog. You're still going to have the maintenance issues, but performance of these when they're bedded and you're using them on tank, constant juice fed and stuff like that. Even my DCT tank with a dual coil is better than a Nova. It is slightly better vapor. It's a slightly different take on the flavour. I'm not going to say better flavour because some flavours weren't as good, but some were better. So it's a different take on the flavour, if that makes sense. But the negatives outweigh the positives when it comes to that versus a Nova. With these in them, these are definitely better than the dual coil Cartos that Smoctech make. These are definitely better than the triple coils that Totally Wicked make. These as a Carto are wicked. They are.
Oh, sorry.
Go on.
I know. I keep butting in here, but I wanted to go back to my usability maintenance rating 6. I missed out on one reason why I said there was 6, and it was being generous. Is the fact that sometimes you will just get one that turns up and it doesn't work.
That's another problem with Cartos, is inconsistency. With an ATI head, 9 times out of 10, or more than, even more than that, sorry, 99 times out of 100, they're not going to have any problems. We haven't ever had a dodgy ATI head. We've both had one blow on us as soon as we've used it, and that's because we've over tightened them on the prong and we've basically blown it straight away. Personally, can't see why that would happen, but it does. It just is. It's known. Research it about the Novas. Over tighten the heads and you can blow them. We've both had that happen once. But I can't say I've ever had a dodgy DCT. Not DCT. Sorry,
we haven't had a dodgy Boge yet.
We haven't had a dodgy Boge yet, but we have had 3 out of 3 dodgy triple core from Totally Wicked. That's really poor, especially after receiving these. Really poor from Totally Wicked. But these are better than all the others. In Cartos in terms of what we've tried. They're better than the Smoctechs, they're better than the Totally Wickeds. They are less consistent than the ATI heads. In my opinion, if you're after a tank system, get a Nova. If you're after just this, it's the only thing out there really that delivers just this. We have got something else we're going to do a review on in a minute, which I think maybe we can probably be the closest thing to compare to this.
What was that?
The little nano
thing, yeah.
It's a little nano. It's basically it's like £3. It's
we'll get onto that.
But we'll get onto that. You'll see the review of that. But I think they're going to be comparable. If you watch that video, you'll see why. But yeah, maintenance is a 4, usability is an 8. So it's going to meet in the middle. Or be a sort of a combined about 6 that Paul did, Worms just did. Sorry, but I think the main reason is just inconsistency and the fact that these take more work. If they could sort the inconsistency out, it might be a bit higher. Your turn, mate. Flavour vapor.
Flavour vapor. I mean, I have only used this today, bearing that in mind, and I have used a bit of his DCT for, I don't know, maybe in total, like maybe 6 hours total usage. Like just me nicking it because I couldn't be bothered to fill up my tank or whatever, or he just put new flavour in there and we was just sitting there raping that for about an hour or so. But flavour and vapour, I mean, what are we comparing it to? If we compare it to a Nova, I think slightly better. If we compare it to a DDA, it doesn't even touch it.
But then I think
these are all different
with
moddings.
These, I think with Cartos and Clearos you can kind of make the comparison because they're very similar in price.
Same league-ish.
They're kind of in the same category. When you get into DDAs, you're talking Genesis tanks and drippers. You're gonna get better performance even off of a poor one.
Yeah.
It's just, but you have to work a lot harder for it. The DDA is the easiest of the lot, but it's still a lot harder than this.
I'm liking it. The flavour vapor is most of the time slightly better than the Nova, but occasionally it drops off where it's not wicking properly from the wadding and that, because it's not a kind of direct feed into the juice from a singular wick going straight in there. It's kind of the wadding is everywhere, so you can have a little bit juice stuck up here when you probably don't need to fill it as much as you think you do, and it's kind of I don't know, but nice.
Out of 10.
It's nice.
Out of 10.
Compared to the Nova,
No, just out of 10.
out of 10. 7.
What for flavour?
Flavour is 7. No, I'd say flavour is 6 and vapour 7. Flavour is slightly dulled. To me,
I think you're forgetting using the Nova with this kind of juice. If I'm honest with you, we've been using DDAs, guys. We're not going to lie.
Pretty much
DDAs are strong. I mean, I'm going to go flavour. Now, this is a juice that we've made up recently. We have been using this quite a bit recently as well. And I'd like to say that I am getting a lot of the undertone flavours through on this. So this is a tobacco menthol, and the menthol's been quite strong, and the tobacco's been fairly weak. On this, I'm actually going to rate these higher because I think this is delivering nice flavour. I think it really is. I think, again, comparison to the DDA, no, it's not going to punch as much, but compared to the Nova and stuff, I'd say this is better. I would go as far as saying this is better flavour than you get on the Nova.
But if you said Nova flavours now, it would probably be like a 6 and a 6.
Our Nova flavours, compared to like the DDAs, yeah, the Novas will be what, sort of 6 and 7 as opposed to the sort of 9s and 10s we give them. But
it only seems slightly better than a Nova to me, and I've been using one over today. So
yeah, but you haven't been using this juice in a Nova.
I was this morning.
Really?
Yeah.
I think flavour out of these is an 8 easily. I think it is for what it is, and bear in mind these aren't bedded in properly yet. These really should be.
No, they're not.
I'm liking this actually. I'm really enjoying vaping this. You've probably been able to tell from the video I've been vaping away. I'd say flavour this is an 8. It's a tobacco menthol. The menthol's a bit stronger in the DDAs than it is in this, but it's going to be. But the tobacco doesn't come through as much in the DDAs because it's being overpowered by the menthol. I'm getting nice tobacco flavour of this, very subtle, nice, and a nice menthol. Yeah, flavour for me is an 8 out of this. I'm actually quite enjoying using this. I think the single core is the way to go with Cartos. I think you're either a single or a dual, but I am single obviously because I'm liking this. Vapour. This we will compare to a Nova because we both used Novas very recently.
Slightly better.
Slightly better. Yeah, I'm going to give this an 8 or 9 out of. Yeah, it's 8 or 9 for the vapour. I think it's nice.
Overall, I'm going to say 7.
It's a heat
for both of them.
The heat from this.
The heat of this is very nice.
It's not quite as hot as a Nova, but it's a bit warmer than the DDA. It's a very nice kind of. You can sort of sit there and vape it, and it's not going to burn you too much. It's a very just a mellow, sort of, as we've said before, room temperature vape.
Yes, very nice.
My overall rating, I don't think I'm going to give a number. I'm just going to say I'm impressed. I am enjoying it. For £6 for 5 guys, buy some. If you're ordering from somewhere, buy them, try them yourself. These are actually really good cartos. I'm not a big carto person, but this I am impressed with. That's just my overall rating. Is just I'm impressed. It's exceeded expectations. My expectations were never going to be sky high, but they were there, and this has definitely exceeded those. So yeah, overall I'm impressed.
I think I'm going to go the same route with Mr. Cartons. Not give you an overall number on this one, but I am going to say if you're looking to try a Carto and you haven't tried one, this would be where to put your money.
Bogues.
£6 for 5 of them. So far we haven't had a dodgy one. They seem to be the best in the market. We hear everyone ranting and raving. We do a lot of research on this stuff. Go with a Boge.
Vape Gear have actually got them for a £5 for 5.
Oh, there we go, Vape Gear.
And they've got the XL ones for 50p more. So vapegear.co.uk for them, but we was ordering from Vaporscape. But yeah, I think, to be honest with you, pleasantly surprised is where I'm going to leave this.
After a triple call at Fiasco, like I say, 3 of them, all 3 just died and didn't work and slowed to death, and
yeah. Even
very
after the smoke tip ones though, we both used them in the tank and stuff. Even after them, I'm pleasantly surprised by these. I expected them maybe to meet that whilst that was sat in a tank, and these are actually better than the smoke tip ones are in my tank.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm actually quite pleasantly surprised by these. I might actually cut my tube down from my DCT tank and make it take these instead. So it's not hard to do. I may do that actually. I'll lose a bit of capacity, but I'm still going to get a whole 4 mil with it. Yeah, it's nice. It's nice.
At the end of the day, isn't it? So
I don't really know where else to take this, mate. I think did you want to show anything?
Let's just show you that I have brought my Vamo, and that is it.
Should we show you?
Oh yeah, we'll show them that as well. A little bit bonus, but this is my Vamo. Obviously it's in chrome, silver chrome. I don't even forgot the colour then.
This is it's a standard chrome Vamo.
£28.
The vapingvault.co.uk Vamo.
It has got the version 2 spring.
It's the same as mine, guys.
So it's already flushed up against that, nice and strong. Beautiful.
It's exactly the same as mine, but his is chrome, mine was black chrome. I'd like to say that chrome looks awesome. It really does. It looks better than my black chrome did, which is obviously, if I had that, I probably wouldn't have bothered taking the paint off.
And this is my throw around mod now for going to work.
You'll see what we're about to do with this in a second.
Yeah. If you remember rightly, I did tell you about, I was ordering those batteries from Germany, if you've been watching our videos a long time, and they sent me through the flat top ones. They did eventually send me the nipple top ones without asking for the flat top ones back. So Mr. Prawn had this idea that when I got my Vamo,
well, we'll show you what my idea was.
let's just say two 18500s.
Two 18500s, 2000 mAh each, so that's a total of 4000 mAh. And basically, yeah, we was just both intrigued just to see as to whether this would work. So, would you like to see what the Vamo looks like when Worm is not using it? Here's one, sorry. That's what it looks like. That's a 4000 mAh Vamo. Okay, reason we tried this on mine, not on Worm's, purely because I did drill these vent holes and I wanted to be precautious. But yeah, basically, if you thought the Vamo was big,
it's now bigger.
You only see nothing yet. All right, that is. I was using it like this earlier.
If we can get a hold of someone who's selling the middle casing thing, we are probably going to buy about 5 each and just see what happens.
Make the Vamo pimp stick.
It will be a walking stick slash lightsaber slash cattle rod slash whatever.
But this is what we get up to in our spare time. But yeah, that is basically what we was playing with earlier. But that's a 4000 mAh
Vamo.
So it'll last me at least an hour.
On the top plus side,
yeah,
you know.
On the plus side, but
see, yeah. He's using his dual coil DD at the moment on a 1.6 ohm at 6 volts. So it's,
yeah, I am going
through 1000 mAh the other night in an hour.
Hour and a half.
Well, hour and a half then, but still 1000 mAh in an hour and a half. That should last you a day.
I'd just like to point out that is because I am a beast and dead in them, and I am also the one.
Is the minge.
But yeah, so yeah, this is something random we come up with, and what I would like to say is if you could just keep stacking.
If anybody's got a Vamo out there that
another one, two 18650s, a 3400 mAh, it's a 6800 mAh Vamo.
If anyone's got a Vamo out there that they've destroyed the chipset on or fucked up, or they're only using it in mini mode and they don't want the bottom extra sleeve,
send it to me. I'm going to make a pimp stick.
We'll even, like, I don't know, what's a bottle of liquid for it or something, I don't know.
But yeah, the vapingvault.co.uk, sorry, well, I'm going to give you your Vamo piece back. But yeah, vapingvault.co.uk for this Vamo, really, really good service. It took a little bit longer because you can't prioritise mail it, you can't have next day mail, but it took...
It did come next day. Yes,
actually, it did come next day. It did come next day. It just wasn't sent next day. It was sent first class. But yeah, because you ordered it at night.
It was just sent first class signed for.
And it came the next day. So yeah, Vaping Vault. We thought the Vamo was an incredibly good price. We even thought maybe it's the version 1 for that price. £28 fucking. He paid £40 for the Vamo, an 18650 battery, and this drip tip delivered. He paid less for all of that than I did for my fucking Vamo. So yeah, the vapingvault.co.uk guys. Dan, if you're watching this, get yourself on there. Or alternatively, charliesvapeshop.co.uk got a stainless steel Vamo kit. The Vamos are individually more expensive, but you've got the kit there with charger, two
probably
batteries.
Probably going to be a better idea for you, Dan, because you haven't obviously got the charger, because we know you're using a spinner at the moment. You get some batteries with that, your charger, a couple of cartomizers on top of that as well.
A gift case and an instruction manual. Two
that gift case looks really nice as well.
But Charlie's Vape Shop, £65. You could have the two 18350s it gets with it, the charger, as well as an 18650 and delivered. Saying that, you could probably build yourself quite a nice little set from Vape Vault.
You probably could.
You wouldn't have the cartomizers, but you might save yourself a tenner. So yeah, Vaping Vault, I think it's gone up to £30 now, but they're offering 10% discount, so it actually works out £1 less than one.
We haven't actually looked what charges they got, do they?
We haven't looked what charges they got, but I imagine you pick up a charger there for no more than 15 quid, so that's 43, plus a few batteries, about 50 quid. You can probably get it for a tenner off without the cartomizers and still have the same kind of thing. You wouldn't have the stainless steel Vamo, you'd have the chrome one, but save yourself a tenner.
But to be honest, I think the chrome one looks banging.
The chrome one, honestly, if I'd have got that, I probably wouldn't have played around with it. I've got the black chrome thinking the black chrome looked good, so I expect it to be darker than it was. But no, that's a very, very good price for an exceptionally good mod.
that one does feel. The minus used to feel stiffer.
My minus didn't even used to click when I first got mine. So yeah, but
even better quality.
But 40 quid, or £45 what I paid for mine. I mean, ignore the fact that mine's brass now, whatever. But £45 what I paid for mine, and we said for its value it was the best mod on the market. You've just knocked nearly 20 quid off that. It's basically that Vamo. If you've already got batteries and chargers, that Vamo will cost you less than a spinner and the charger for the spinner wheel. My dear fuck.
My dear fuck.
It's just £28, guys. That is
Vamo.
Unbelievably good value. Z-Max 80 quid, same chipset, £28. Get it, honestly, it's such a good mod. I just honestly, I just can't fall
so cheap,
more in love with this mod.
You will just take it everywhere.
I wonder why this felt a bit light, and it's because I have no battery in it. But yeah, no, it's such an unbelievably good mod. I am totally in love with this thing, especially when you take pricing into consideration. It's such a good mod. And I think Worm is going to be more and more in love with this every single day that he takes it out. Right guys, we're going to leave it there. We've got more videos to make, we've got more stuff to review, and a lot more flapping to do.
Yeah, so we don't want to waste it all in one video.
Exactly. So guys, I have been Mr. Proton, here's been the Worm. Thanks for watching. See you soon.